Morning, guys. Welcome back. Today on the podcast, we're joined by Lauren Stockley, an Elite 15 athlete who's competed in both solos and doubles with her teammate Charlie Searle. An incredible athlete with a huge future in the sport. We're super excited to find out how the season's been going, how the prep for Warsaw is coming along, and finally, how Lauren balances top level sport and being a teacher. Luckily, it's the Easter break, so we found some time to catch up. But thank you, Lauren, for coming on the podcast.
No, it's my pleasure. I'm excited to speak to you guys.
Oh yeah, we're excited to have you. I mean, we just chatted a little bit before there. There's been a lot that's happened in your season this season. But maybe before we dive into that, we could like rewind a little bit and we like to just get a bit of background on our guests. So do you mind telling us a little bit about like your sporting background and how you became such an incredible athlete?
Yeah, of course. So I was very much like the sporty kid in school. I was very much excited to do any sport that I could. But my background is in competitive swimming. So I was a competitive swimmer from the ages of about 9 to about 14, 15. Alongside the swimming, I did a bit of athletics. So I was an 800 and 1500 meter runner. So those two were sort of my main sports at the time. And then going through school and university, I played quite a lot of field hockey. So those are my three sports that I was very sort of involved with before I got into sort of the Hyrox and CrossFit sort of scene. So yeah, those are the three that I really enjoyed when I was younger.
Well,
I mean,
that's
that's
crazy.
quite a good crossover, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
800 meter, 1500 meter swimming. I mean, there's quite a lot of swimmers like with in the Elite 15 with that background. So it definitely like works as a good crossover.
I think it's very much like with the swimming, I was training in the morning, I was training in the evening. So it was very much like what I'm doing now. So I think it got
Mm.
that sort of discipline instilled in me at quite like a young age. So I was doing that from like with swimming, it's almost like gymnastics that you have to get into it quite young and it's quite brutal training from a young age. So I think that's definitely helped with sort of the aerobic background in Hyrox, but also how I've that discipline as well going forward.
Mm. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like I feel like a lot of elite athletes you speak to have got a swimming background, and yeah, it's probably a multitude of things like from discipline and getting up early and training, and then the volume of training I guess you do at that age because I think like kids at that age you might play I don't know like a sport like for an hour a day after school or something, but there's not many kids that are training before and after school except for the swimmers, I think.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it because I was in like a performance squad. So I had a good 20, 30 other people like around me constantly. So I was seeing these people more than I was seeing my grandparents sometimes. Like it was like a nice little community. And it's almost like a little bit like school. You had all your friends in school, and then I'd go and see my friends in the swimming club. So I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I loved being busy at a young age. So yeah, it was a great sort of upbringing being in sort of swimming.
Yeah.
And what position did you play in hocky? Were you
I
like a centre
was,
mid or
yeah,
something?
centre midfield,
Yeah.
doing all the running.
Yeah, yeah. I was intrigued. You weren't the goalkeeper.
No, I don't think I'd be very good as a goalkeeper.
Oh no, it's brutal in hockey, isn't it? You like I played a lot of hockey at uni, but like you get the keeper gets padded up and everyone just pelts really rock hard, solid balls at you.
Yeah,
Like
I've had some awful injuries from hockey, like that ball. If it hits you, you are.
oh,
It's not nice. But yeah, fair
it's
play to the
yeah.
goalies.
Yeah, totally. And then you kind of mentioned CrossFit there as well a little bit. Was that kind of once you were a little bit older, did you find CrossFit before you found, or probably before Hyrox became such a big sport?
So yeah, I did the sort of classic thing throughout sort of the COVID years where we had that sort of hour of exercise. So I sort of got back into my running then. And once we'd sort of come out of COVID, I met my now partner Tom, who was a lot of his friends did CrossFit. So he sort of said to me, "Why don't you come down to the Saturday class, give it a go?" And I'd always watched the sort of Netflix documentaries on CrossFit.
Oh,
Is it like the fittest in the world? I think it is.
fittest on earth, yeah.
Fittest on Earth. And I loved that. And I just didn't realise that it was in the UK. So I'd go along to the CrossFit class on the Saturday and I enjoyed doing the sort of Olympic lifting, but I knew it was something that I never I never really wanted to focus too much on the Olympic lifting, but I enjoyed the sort of aerobic, the running workouts. So that's when sort of Hyrox was sort of in its infancy, and people were saying, "Oh, why don't you give this a go? This would definitely be sort of up your street." So I did CrossFit for about a year before I then went into Hyrox. But yeah, and I've never looked back.
Yeah, that's got it's quite a good foundation though, because you obviously had the huge aerobic engine, like you were used to pushing yourself, and then to add a bit of strength training and lifting and stuff into it with the high rocks and probably the higher end like VO2 max workouts as well, if like as well as your aerobic base. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Like Hyrox is just the mix of everything that I enjoy. So,
Mm,
like I loved all the different skills elements in CrossFit, but I knew to get to a good standard of CrossFit, I would have massively needed to increase like my gymnastics,
mm.
and I'd have to lift heavier, basically. Um, but with Hyrox, it was sort of taken like the stuff like the wall balls, the quite springy movements that I loved in CrossFit, but also brought the running into it. So yeah, Hyrox is just sort of something that came along that I was like, oh my God, this is kind of made for me, really.
Absolute
Yeah.
dream. Yeah, sounds like it for sure.
And then what about, I guess, the journey through High Rocks? I mean, now everyone probably sees you as the Elite 15 athlete, and you've teamed up with Charlie doing the doubles. You've done your solo. How did it start for you? Did you first sign up to a solo race, or did you do doubles, relay, and like what were your fitness levels when you first went into High Rocks?
So I did my first ever Hyrox in Birmingham, not the one just gone the year before, so about a year ago. So I did an open to begin with. So I signed up to that maybe 3 or 4 months before the actual Hyrox. So I had a lot of background in running. I was still doing the CrossFit and the running. So I had a good fitness level there. But I'd broken my arm just before the Hyrox. So I was in despair because the tickets were so hard to get a hold of, and I really, really wanted to do it. So I only had a good like 3 weeks out of my cast before I did the High Rocks. But yes, my first open was in Birmingham, and that's when I first qualified for the World Champs in Chicago. So once that sort of email came through, I was like, oh my gosh, I might actually have to take this kind of seriously. And well, I was like, I'm going to have to do a pro. So I did my first one in Birmingham, and then my first pro was in Glasgow. So that's when I did my first race, and then I've never really looked back.
Oh my
That
God.
could I just
How was
ask?
your wrist? Yeah.
Yeah, how was the arm doing like burpees and wall
Yeah.
balls?
It was okay. It wasn't too bad. I'd been in the cut, so it was like the scaphoid bone, so it was like my wrist.
Oh,
So it took forever to heal. So I was in the cast for a long time, but I was still sort of doing as much as I could. I'd bought like a turbo trainer, so I was on the bike quite a lot. I was still running. Um, so my fitness was there. My strength wasn't. Like I looked back the other day at one of the videos I've got from Birmingham, and my sled pull technique is awful. And I remember being on that sled pull and thinking, "Oh my God, like overestimated this. Like this is going to be pretty hard."
Oh
that is
yeah, I mean,
crazy. And that was at open weight, and now you're doing pro weight,
Yeah, yeah.
like with awesome technique. It's crazy, isn't it? I think it's so nice though to hear from like this is why we love doing the podcast to hear like everyone just sees you competing on the stage in the Elite 15 and goes, oh, she's an awesome athlete, and maybe they know a bit about your background and they're like, oh, she was a great swimmer and a great, but like they don't see that everyone with high rocks pretty much did start, probably would look back on their first race and be like, what the hell was I doing there? Like
Oh
everyone's done
yeah, my
something, haven't they? Like, and it's
my
so nice
sled
to
pull
know.
was awful. And I still hate sled pull now. But yeah, the technique wasn't there on my sled pull, and that's something I've really had to work on.
Yeah.
and how did you find? I mean, maybe you don't really remember a little while ago, but going from open to pro, and then the weights changing because one of the biggest things is the sleds, the push and the pull. That's the I guess biggest effect, especially for the females on the weights.
So I went into it really nervous, and I went into it normally. it was more of a different mindset. So now I go into it and I'm like, I want to get a fast time. I want to go as quick as I can. But my first pro, I was like, just steady into it, get those sleds out the way, and you can then push on a little bit. But it was going into it with a bit of, I was like fear, but respect for the weights. Just don't blow yourself too early, like go into it steady. But I'd done a lot of strength training before, and I'd done a lot of sled work, so I knew what the sleds would probably feel like, but then you never know what it's actually going to feel like on the day. But that first one in Glasgow, so I went from a 111 in my open to then a 105 in my pro,
Oh,
and that's when I sort of was like, oh my God. And I'd seen how much work I'd put into it. And I was like, if I can keep doing this and keep doing this, I could do really well in this sport. So I'd really surprised myself. And I think the races that I've always done well in, I've definitely surprised myself. I've never gone in thinking, oh my gosh, I can win this or I could do really well in this. But yeah, so that was that race in Glasgow, and then my London one, London XL, they were probably my two favourite races. And I would always look back at Glasgow with happiness, really.
oh, yeah, that is crazy. I mean, that's insane to like take 6 minutes off and also do it with pro. Even if you matched your open time, that would have been insane with the
Yeah,
heavier weights.
I sort of finished just like, oh my God, like I just didn't expect it at all. I was aiming for about the same time as my open. But yeah, I did put in a lot of work before that. It wasn't just I upped my training a little bit. Like I full on like got a coach. He was with me for a couple of months, and he was someone I knew from CrossFit. So he had more of a CrossFit background than Hyrox. So he was very much doing my strength sessions for me, and I would sort of sort out all the running alongside it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's incredible. And how did Chicago Worlds go for you? One, how did the whole like Worlds experience go? But two, how were you one of the ones that got a dodgy sled, or were you lucky with your
Oh,
sled on your own?
so I'd gone in first on the sled in the first lane, and I've got
Oh,
videos of where you can just
you
see
were on the
that lane crumpling up, and it wasn't nice. I'd sort of got to the end, and my partner Tom was there, and I was like, this is something different. I was like looking at him, I was shaking my head, and he was like, you've just got to keep going. And I felt like after that I felt fine, and I was fifth in my age group, so
oh,
I'd sort of come away. I was happy with it. At the time I was annoyed, but with the sled you can't do anything about it. Like that's the sort of cards you're dealt, so I just had to deal with it. But I went to Chicago not really knowing anyone from Hyrox. So I think that was only my third or fourth race. So it's meant, do you know what the nice thing is about Hyrox is now I can go to the events and I see so many people I now know. And I've made so many friends through this sport that, like, from a year ago, I didn't know anyone in this sport. So it's definitely, even though I love competing, I've made so many like friends and met so many different people through it, which I really love.
Yeah, it's such a good community. I think it's so nice when, especially like at the UK races, when everyone goes and can catch up with each other. It's a really nice, like I don't know. Everyone is obviously competing, but it just doesn't seem that competitive. Like
Yeah,
when
I get what you mean. But
yeah,
that was like with me and Charlie. So me and Charlie were always racing the same races. We'd done the March on Track event together, and we were sort of put together by our two coaches just to do that event. And we sort of realised that, yes, we sort of spoke to each other at the different high roxes, but when we actually did an event together, I was like, oh my God, you're actually really lovely. And not that I had thought that she wouldn't be, but
no.
I was like, oh my God, I could really see you as a friend here, and
Mm.
I'd want to compete next to you. So it's going from being competitors to actually working together and trying to be, well, we are really good friends.
yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, I feel like I'm just doing a journey through like all the races that you've done now, but we're on this path, so I'm just gonna ask it now. But I was at the race in London and I actually watched some of it when I think there was like Gabby, you, Poppy. There was like quite a stacked field of like the girls, but but also some of you weren't as known as others. And I remember watching you all on the rower and thinking like you just looked really calm and composed and like I don't know if someone spoke to you like it wouldn't even bother you, like you were just in your zone. So I was just wondering like how that race was and also like lining up against, you know, elite 15 athletes and how you kind of dealt with that.
So yeah, that race definitely sort of changed my career. So I had very
Because you
much
took
like,
you took the win. Did you? You took the
yeah,
win.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Just in case anyone's not sure, but yeah, I did think that was how it ended. But yeah, carry on.
But yeah, so I'd gone from, so my PB was a 105 at that point, and I'd always, a goal of mine had always been to get into the elite 15. And I, in my mind, I was like, maybe I could do it. Maybe it might be a possibility, but I still thought I had a long way to go before that would like become a reality. So I went to London. I knew Gabby was starting, and I've spoken to Gabby so many times, and she's such a lovely person. But in my head, I said to myself, try and stick by her. You know what sort of time she runs. Stay with her and just hold and see if you can stay with her. Like I didn't think I'd get the time I would, but she was sort of that point where I knew what sort of time she would run. So if I stayed within like a close proximity of her, that I knew I could maybe go for like a 101, 102. Um, but yeah, it's just trying to steady those nerves. You see those amazing athletes on the start line, you're like, oh my gosh, they are fast. And like, I try not to doubt myself, and I've tried to really sort of work on that confidence when you're on this, like before you're about to race. But yeah, that race was just amazing. Everything, it's just one of those races that I think just clicked, and
Mm.
there was no point where I was thinking, oh my God, I'm dying, which does happen in quite a lot of the races I do. But yeah, it just felt smooth. It was nice to actually be in contention and race the other athletes. But yeah, that was such a great weekend for me, and I definitely look back on it really fondly.
Yeah, I mean, impressive. I just remember watching her, just thinking, God, you look so like calm and collected, and
I look
like.
calm, but my in my head I am dying. A lot of people say that to me on the row. I look really calm, but I am sort of I am blowing. It's
Well,
It's
it's a
such a
good
funny one,
good
isn't it? It's
game
good game
face.
face. Yeah.
I know you can't really see it on my face when I'm in pain, but I am in a lot of pain, and I'm trying hard.
And then,
No.
so after that, then you spoke about like working on your mindset and like when you were in the start gate and against other athletes. Did that change things when you won that race?
Yeah, I think it just gave me a little bit more confidence in myself to be like, yes, you can do this. You can race
Mm.
against some of the best in the sport. So yeah, that definitely gave me a lot of confidence going through the rest of my season. But yeah, it's definitely something that I've had to sort of try and work on.
Mm.
And I am at. Sorry, no, go on, Faye.
No, I was just gonna say if you win a UK race or like a European race, like you kind of know you are up there with the top because it's such a strong
Strong field.
area, strong like you only have to look at the recent regionals and it's just so much stronger in Europe and especially the UK than the rest of the world that taking a win in London is a pretty big, you know, it's not like a race somewhere else where it's not as Hyrox isn't as well known. It's
Yeah. Like it was definitely such a shock when I crossed the line. I looked at the time and I just thought, I knew I'd maybe have that in me, but I thought it would have been like next season. It would have been, it sort of, everything happened a lot quicker than I'd expected it to.
And was that an hour or was that a 101?
101,
That was a
101.
101. And then this is when it's still the time system. So did you then go to another race to get another time to put you into the Elite 15?
Yeah, so the next major was Phoenix. So I'd had a 101 and a 105. So I did a bit of a quick trip to Stockholm just before Christmas. I was sort of like, can we do this? I was worried that if I went and it didn't go well, that because it was so close to London, I just didn't want to burn out. It was just around Christmas, but I was so glad I went. So I went out to Stockholm. I got a 30-second penalty, and I thought that was sort of going to be me out of the question. But I managed to get my average down to like a 101, high, so nearly like a 102. So yeah, that's what kind of got me into Phoenix in the end.
What did you get your penalty for?
My kettlebells fell out of the box.
Oh,
And I
brutal.
like I know that when you're carrying those kettlebells, it's really hard to like fling them like at
Yeah,
anything. Like you with the sandbag, it's quite easy to sort of fling it and you
yeah.
don't look back. But with the kettlebells, sure I placed them down, and apparently as I walked up, ran off, they sort of fell, and yeah, so 30 seconds.
Oh, that's such an annoying one.
But
You
it
just want to
happens.
lob them down. It's when you get to the box, sometimes you get there and then it's like you can't find a space to put them down as well. And you're like
Yeah,
trying to put them
yeah.
somewhere and it's like you got to like lean over or something. You're like, God damn.
You should have seen my face at the end. My coach Ollie and my boyfriend Tom were at the end. I was looking at them. I was like, "What is that for?" And they were just like looking at me, like, "I don't know." And like the camera's in my face, and I'm just there, like pointing at the screen. I was like, "Where's that 30 seconds come from?"
Oh
But
my
it
God.
did the job.
It
So
Yeah.
did the job. It did the job. So we don't
yeah.
talk about it anymore.
So that got you into Phoenix.
Yeah.
And talk to us about that whole experience and your first Elite 15. I mean, short turnaround, wasn't it? It was quite quick to then head out to America.
Yeah, it was really quick. So mine was a roll down spot. So I'd seen sort of Charlie and Gabby get theirs, and I just sort of got to that point where I was like, right, be happy for them. You've got to cheer them from the UK. And so when I got my roll down spot, I was like, oh my God, I'm actually going to go. I'm going to be there with everyone. And it was so because they send the emails like early in the morning or like late next, they come in from America. um, I'd woken up to go to my first training session. So it was about 5:30 in the morning. And I saw the email on my phone and I just screamed the house down. Like my partner was literally about to go to work. And I was like, Tom, oh my God, I've seen this. So I had to go to work the whole day trying to like keep myself quite calm.
Oh.
Because really it is a dream come true. And this is what I was like working towards. And for it to come as quickly and as a surprise, I'd sort of already thought that oh, this isn't my time now. I'm just gonna have to wait. So yeah, it was insane to get that email. And because I knew Charlie was going out, we were supposed to be doing Manchester together as a doubles. We'd decided to sort of stay together in Phoenix. So there was a big sort of group of us that was in the same accommodation. So it was like me, Charlie, Phil, her coach, and then the Southern brothers. So we were all in one big well, sort of big house, really. So it was just a really fun trip. And yes, my race didn't go how I wanted to. I ended up DNFing my race. The trip itself, I still do look back really fondly of it, and I really did enjoy my experience. But yeah, it didn't go how I wanted it to go, but I still look back at it and had like a really nice time out there. And just to be in that sort of elite bubble as well, like doing all the media, having all the photos taken, being in a room with like the best in the world, and you're sort of people walking around, you're like, oh my God, there's Long Weeks. And you, like it's people that you've seen online, but you've not ever met in person. So yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed it.
That's cool. We spoke to Charlie on the podcast just before you went out, and she was buzzing about staying in a big house all together, wasn't she? So
Yeah.
like, yeah, she was talking about that. I was like, oh, you've also got to go race, but she was like, we're all staying in a
that's
house together. It's gonna be so much fun.
that's the thing. We were just enjoying ourselves and just trying to like we did a couple of sessions. We were like we still didn't really know each other that well. And yeah, it was just such a nice, it was like a holiday, really. Yes, we were so nervous. And that day before um the race or the morning of the race, because the races are at like 7:30 in the evening, me and Charlie were just like in our pajamas all day. Like we looked like hungover, really. And we were just like wandering around the house, like having a nap here, going and sitting outside for a bit, going and trying to have another nap. Like it was just yeah, it was a really nice experience.
Oh, no, I mean it's really like it's nice that you have fond memories, although it didn't go how you'd like planned for it to go. Do you know what happened? Can you put it down to anything, or is it one of those where it was just like not your day and the travel or like heat or any of that sort of thing?
So I still really don't know what it was. So I've done so many different races. Like I've done half Ironmans, I've done marathons, and I've never ever felt like I did in that race. So I got to sort of like the burpees and I felt fine. I felt like I was really calm going into the race. And I just sort of went with that mindset of you're sort of the underdog here. Like even coming like you're
Mm.
15th is still amazing. Like you've got here. So I hadn't put too much pressure on myself. But I got to the burpees and I just felt really, really sick and just I didn't have any energy in me at all. I sort of got through the burpees and sort of sat down on the rower and I was pulling and I just didn't have any energy in me at all. And I just felt really, really sick. And I could see people looking at me like, oh, take gel, take this. And I was like, I can't, I feel so sick. So I was sort of rowing, I'd stopped. I felt really dizzy and sick at that point. And I was like, no, 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 you've got to keep going, got to keep going. Did about an extra like 200 meters and then was just sick on the side of the rower. Like do I know why I was sick? I don't know whether it was the nerves, whether it was the jet lag. I don't know. And I say I was like the trip I've really like good memories from, but I was absolutely gutted. Like the next morning when I'd woke up, it's sort of that sort of realization hits you again. And it did take me sort of a day to really get my head around it. Like it was the one race where I really needed it to matter. I couldn't do it. And it really like that went again from having a really high confidence boost to then sort of being going back down again. So it took me a while to sort of, and like I've said before, it's yes, I needed to wallow in it and sort of feel the feelings that I had, but I was so glad I had that doubles race the next day with Charlie to sort of get back into it. And I said to Charlie, I was like, I'm finishing that race, whether you have to drag me over that line. And that's the thing, that's why I don't know what it was, because the next day, yes, I felt rough, but it wasn't like I had a stomach bug or anything. I felt like, oh, I can go again. I should be okay. So yeah, I don't know what it was.
No, I mean,
So annoying, isn't it?
yeah, sometimes you just don't know, or you can't find the
Root
explanation.
cause.
Yeah, yeah, but like, I mean, fair play for then
I know. You
getting
did the
getting
worst
through
bit
the
of the
next
race.
day.
I know. I
Like,
was like, oh, I
like,
kept thinking, I was like, could I have finished it? Could I? But I was, as soon as I was sick on that road,
no, if
the
you're,
judges were straight
yeah.
towards me, and I was like, yeah, that's me done.
I mean, like, fair play for pushing through because a lot of people would have stopped before, like, even just to try and keep going to push yourself to that limit. But
Yeah,
it's one of those things in sport, isn't it? And it's like, I don't know, you look at like the Olympics and people train 4 years to perform on one day, and just that day sometimes just isn't your day, and
no,
anything can, dehydration, like the travel, like something you've eaten, not sleep, anything can affect you, and it's quite hard to perform in that on that one day at that one time, even like at 7:30 at night, like it's
yeah.
a late race to,
It
yeah.
is really late. And I think definitely if it had happened again, like if I went into my next race and I felt rough or there was the same sort of symptoms again, then yes, maybe I'd look into it a little bit more. But because it hasn't happened again and I feel fine in
Mm.
myself, I've sort of left it as sort of it might have been the jet lag. I might have just been tired. And I do forget how it affects you mentally as well, the travel, the pressure. And even though I did feel calm, like it's a big lead up. And yeah, I think definitely a mix of all of that. And I'm just happy to sort of leave that there. And
Yeah,
yeah.
But it
yeah,
was cool to see you girls do the doubles the next day. Getting
Yeah,
the
I
fourth
really
place.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, did that help like mentally to just get like a bit of confidence back doing that, getting that boost?
Yeah, 100%. Because I knew I knew we do well. And so to do that the next day and just be like, right, I've come home with a positive, sort
Yeah.
of try to overshadow the negatives that's happened. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it.
yeah. And then that's the race that qualified you for the Elite 50. Is that
Yes,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So can we talk about that a little bit?
Of
And
course I can.
It's always gonna happen.
um, So obviously you went to London with the hopes of punching your ticket to Worlds, and you girls had a fast time. What was your time in Phoenix? Like a 55?
55:30 something, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, so like a rapid time up there, definitely in contention. Um, and then well, you take it from there. Then there was the race.
Yes. So,
How did the race go to start? Like, how did you feel in the race? Like,
oh my God, I loved
right.
it. I
Yeah.
think definitely with the doubles, I know that, I don't know what, just having someone else there and you get that 30, well, it's not 30 seconds, probably about 10 seconds, but that 10 seconds
Yeah.
break at different points, it really does. I don't know why it mentally just helps me a lot with the race. So I didn't feel too nervous about it. And I just watched Charlie the day before smash his singles. So I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go out there. I really want to get back out and compete. Don't get me wrong, that last run, oh, so I don't think people give Charlie as much credit on her running as everyone else. So she had like the fastest run time out of all the elites the day before in the singles. Like she's a really fast runner. So that last run, I was like hanging on for dear life. And I looked back at the live stream and my mouth is open like a goldfish. Like I am struggling into those wall balls. But it hurt. I always had a bit of confidence. There was a time where I thought, oh, maybe we could win it if it was a really, really good race. But I was in my head, I was like, oh, maybe we could podium here. But once we'd got to sort of the lunges, I was like, oh my God, Charles, we can actually win this here. We have got a chance to win this. And yeah, it was just, even though it hurt, it was just the best race we could have had, really. Well, except for the outcome, but
The initial outcome, incredible.
yeah, it
Um,
was amazing. And yeah, it's just, and that was our second race together. And it's definitely given us a lot of confidence that, yeah, we can run this.
yeah.
And now I've been sort of down in Bristol a couple of times over the past weeks, just fixing different things and going through like strategy. Like it's definitely, like, I'm really excited for Warsaw. And I know that both of us will bust a gut for each other. And so, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it must give you fire in your belly. For anyone listening that didn't know what happened, Lauren and Charlie won, celebrated, punched a ticket to Stockholm for the Worlds, and then the next day were given a penalty for cutting across a lane on the sled, which had also been given to Saskia and Holly in the race. Which then meant you didn't get that world spot, which must have been like a huge, huge high to a huge, huge low, but also means that you're ready for Warsaw Major now, and hopefully can punch your place through to Stockholm in Warsaw because there'll be three places available in that race.
Yeah, so I think like the high was amazing and that feeling, like I think we're just gonna try and chase that feeling again. But yeah, to sort of like we were in the arena a good 2, 3 hours afterwards. Like we had to go through like anti-doping and we were obviously going around the arena talking to our friends, family, and we were sort of on the way home and I'd got a phone call off my manager just being like, have you seen Instagram? And at that point I was shattered as I hadn't seen anything. And we'd found out through social media that someone had appealed um, our results and we had been given a minute penalty. Um, so yeah, to find out through social media was hard. We did get a phone call sort of 30 minutes after we'd found out from the race director to sort of talk us through it. But at that point, that decision had been made. We hadn't really had time to appeal it. And at that point, it was about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. So it was like that wave of emotion and adrenaline, but also like I was shattered and just, yeah, from that wave of emotion going from a really high high to a really low low and trying to sort of sort it out at such a late time. It was such a weird experience. But I think the positives to take away from it was even with a minute penalty, we were still third, we still know that we can run that time. And just the outpour of support from everyone has just been just like, it makes me upset really thinking about it, but just how nice everyone has been and how much support we've got from, of course, our friends and family, but people who we've never met. And it's just absolutely insane. But yeah, there's the highs and then there's the lows. And I've spoken to a couple of the judges that were judging us that day, and they've had messages from people. Obviously, people are angry and they're taking it out on the judges. And that's sad to see. Like, we understand that people are angry and we're angry too, but it's not the judge's fault. It wasn't them who went back and gave us the penalty. It was because someone had made the appeal that they had to then go back and look over the race. So yeah, and to go back and run in London the next week and see those judges again and just to give them a hug and just be like, we love you. You did nothing wrong. Like, yes, someone missed Charlie cutting a tiny little bit of the corner. It's not their like they're amazing at their job. They're doing amazing things. Like, I'm really good friends with one of them. Um, so yeah, it's amazing to see the support, but yeah, it was just a sad situation. And it's nice to see that Hyrox have made a change. And I keep saying
Mm.
this to Charlie, like, we've made a change in the sport that people now can't, like, other athletes can't now go and watch a race back and look for any sort of penalties that could have been given. Like, that can't happen now. But it's just sad that it was at our expense. But yeah, I think time's a healer and it's sort of past now. So yeah, we're just now excited to go and smash it in Warsaw.
Yeah, totally. And you girls have handled yourselves and the situation really well. I think
Mm.
like it's inspiring to just see how you've dealt with it, and your answer there just proves it. So I think, and you can put down a fast time, so
Yeah.
that's
Don't get me wrong, we are human. We did have a good cry and we were angry and we've spoken about it, but nothing's going to come from us being angry at other people and us sort of slating other people online. Like, that's just not gonna, you can't fight fire with fire. It's never gonna work out. But yeah, Warsaw is
Just
the one, hopefully.
yeah, just
yeah.
use it as fuel, hey, for
Yeah,
the next race you do, and just you'll remember that feeling, hopefully. All
yeah.
it'll take it, like one, you should just like shout into each other's ears. I
Yeah,
feel
we
like,
do.
like when one of you's having a rough time, just be like, remember that feeling after London, and then it'll just like give you that,
Like, me and
that
Charlie
fire to
don't we don't really speak to each other sort of when we're racing, because normally we're so out of breath, but
it.
it's like little things. Like, when we sort of realized that we could win it, it was sort of, we look at each other, we were like, come on, we can do this.
Mm.
And like on the lunges, like when we moved over, Charlie was like shouting in my ear. She was like, you love a lunge, keep going. So yeah, it's definitely fuel to the fire. And yeah, I'm excited to
Yeah.
get back out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part of the
Uh,
story as well.
Yeah,
Sometimes the best journeys are the ones that are harder to get to.
yeah, definitely.
yeah. And then can we talk a little bit because we've not really, you touched on Ollie being your coach. Is that still the case? And could you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so he's still my coach. So when I talked about Glasgow, I had a coach for about 3 months. So he's like a family friend. So he was doing like my strength programming. And then after Glasgow, I was like, right, so my problem at that point was burnout and me doing too much because I didn't have anyone there to sort of either rein me in or just say, like, no, you shouldn't be going and doing that. And I needed someone that had that knowledge of Hyrox. And I don't even really know. I think it was through Instagram. I'd seen that another athlete was coached by him, and I sort of had that phone call with him, and I was like, this is the kind of person I want to be coached by. And because at that point I was training for a Ironman 70.3, which he had also done. He'd done Ironman, so I was like, right, this might be a nice blend. Um, for someone who could coach me in both. But yeah, he's amazing. He's, even like as a coach, he's got so much knowledge, but just as a person, he is just great. Like, away a couple of times with him. So over the Easter weekend, we went down to Exeter to race in a race called Celtex. So we're going out for food, we're going and doing different things. And he generally is just, even though he's my coach, he is a really good friend. And just any opportunities that come up, like he's always thinking about his athletes and how he can help other people. So yeah, he's just great. He's got an amazing knowledge of the sport, and he's also just a really great person. So yeah, he still programs all my horrible sessions.
He's such a good guy.
Yeah,
We've had a
he's
few people
lush.
coached by him actually, haven't we?
Yeah, yeah.
No,
And
he is great.
your training kind of structure for you, how do you work that when it's not the Easter holidays, when you are also juggling like full-time work still?
Yeah, so training in the morning, training in the evening. A lot of my higher volume sessions or my longer sessions, I try and push to the weekend because that I obviously have a bit more time. But yeah, every morning, every evening. And it is tiring. I think with teaching, it's definitely like the mental side of it. I It's not a physically demanding job, but mentally, I think when you come home from the day and you've been out the house from like 5:30 in the morning till 5 o'clock at night, it is tiring, but I love it and I choose to do it. So I find it like I can't really complain about it because it's my choice to do all this training and to do it. But yeah, I've getting through it. But yeah, it is hard to juggle it all.
Yeah.
And what do you teach?
PE.
PE. I was like, you might surprise me and do something different, but yeah, probably PE.
Yeah, no, I'm PE. I don't think I could teach anything else. I did do a stint of science at one point, but yeah,
Oh gosh, that is
PE through and
definitely too
through.
much brain power. And then what do the kids at school know what you do? And like, do they
Yeah,
understand what it is?
they're so lush. So I teach now. I used to teach in Bristol. So when I was doing my training, I was traveling to work about an hour and 15 both ways. So it was about 2.5 hours of travel. So over this Christmas this year, I've now gone back to my school where I went to school. So it's in my
No.
hometown. So I'm only about a 15-minute drive from there now. And so yeah, I now work with my some of the teachers that were my teachers when I grew up. But then the kids are lush, they're so sweet. So when we went away to Phoenix, like my head of department, she's so supportive and she had all the kids doing little like Hyrox classes. So from year 7 to year 11, I had little videos of them all doing little Hyrox workouts. But I was like sat there the other day and my head of department was asking all the kids, like, oh, is anyone's family doing the London Marathon? Is anyone doing? And a couple of the kids were like, yeah, yeah, my mum or my dad are doing it. And one of the kids sort of put their hand up and was like, oh, I really want to do a high rocks like Miss Stockley. And this was straight after I'd come back from London. I was like, oh my God, I'm actually going to cry here.
Oh,
Like they are really supportive of it. And I think because my social media is open, I'm not silly. Like I know the kids can see what I'm doing and they are interested and they are involved, like not involved, but they're invested in what I'm doing. Like my year 11 girls have sort of come up to me like after London, they were like, we're so proud of you. Like we're really gutted for you. So they were like following it as well. So yeah, so far the kids have been great with it.
that's so
Oh,
cool. And there's
amazing.
Hyrox Young Stars as well now, isn't there? Do you reckon any of them will do that? Like if that's
Yeah,
possible.
so we're going to try and push a couple of them to do it because I know London's just been, but when the next one sort of rolls around, we'll definitely try and do a bit of a push towards the kids and be like, this is here, try and give it a go.
I mean, they've
That's
got
so
an
good.
advantage, haven't they? Their teachers, Lawrence
Yeah.
Stockley. They're lining up on the start of the Hyrox Young Stars start line. You've got an Elite 15 athlete that's your teacher.
No, it's so good though, and yeah, what a role model for the kids. So they're lucky to have you. Do you think? I mean, you don't have to answer this question, but like your future is going to be staying working as a teacher, or do you have other plans? You can say pass if you don't want to
No,
answer.
no, no, it's fine, it's fine. So I do love it, but there has been an opportunity that's sort of come up over the past weeks that could mean that I could go sort of part-time. I haven't sort of signed anything yet. It hasn't sort of come into fruition, but if it does, then there might be the opportunity for me to come part-time. It would be, I was really sort of umming and ahhing about it whether I would want to, because I'm definitely a person that loves structure and definitely like with morning training, I know that if I don't get up to get out of bed and go, I'm going to either miss that training session or I'm going to be late to work. So I do like having that routine. But then every sort of risk I've taken or change in my life I've made over the past 2 years has paid off. So maybe like going part time is going to be that next step, just to maybe not fit in more training, but just to have a bit more of a work-life balance. And it's almost those like little tiny tasks. Like I was saying to Charlie when I went up to Bristol the other day, I was like, this week I've been to the dentist, I've been to the opticians, like all the tiny little things that most people sort of take for granted. Like to do that in the week is so hard around training. So yeah, it might just give me a bit more balance and to give me that time to recover, I think definitely would help going
Yeah.
forwards.
I was going to say about recovery. What do you do anything now, or is there anything you'd like to do? So if you did have a bit more time, is there anything you would add into your recovery protocol?
I think it's more just that relaxing and that downtime. So I do a lot of mobility work, like pliability. Um, I do have an ice bath in my garden. Do I use it very often? Not really. I'm not really good, like great with the cold. I hate it. Um, I am good with my sleep, but it might mean that I'm able to get those extra couple of hours in the morning.
Mm.
It means I don't have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to train. So yeah, my sleep would definitely be affected. I think having time off my feet as well um, would be great. Like I said, even though teaching isn't a physically demanding job, it's that mental side of it as well. So yeah, I think it would just be that time to just have a bit of downtime and yeah, hopefully that would improve my performance.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And then I will round up soon, I promise. But, I was just gonna ask about like the singles. So obviously you're going to Warsaw with Charlie for the elite doubles. Have you got any plans for your like singles racing, or are you just focusing solely on the doubles for the remainder of this season?
I think focus on the doubles for the remainder of the season. Um, I think with the new qualification process over the next year, because it's now not going, it's off like a point system. I am a little bit worried about it. Um, just because it means that we have to race more. Don't get me wrong, I love racing, but it does worry me about how much of a training block I will get throughout the next season, but also how the point system is going to work. So I've seen a lot of things over the past week about people going and winning different races. That obviously gives them quite a few points. And like you guys said, the European and the UK Hyroxes are really, really competitive. So I've seen a lot of people going and flying out to different continents to go and do different races and winning with times that wouldn't be competitive in a UK race.
Mm.
It's like I don't want to get too political about it, but I am worried because I haven't got the money, I haven't got the time to go off to the different continents and try and race there to get those points. And that really, really worries me. And I know quite a few athletes are in that same situation. They've got full-time jobs. They can't just suddenly pack their bags and go off to like Argentina to race to try and get those points in. So it does worry me. But then also, Hyrox haven't actually gone into a full disclosure of how it's going to look. Because at one point, I did think they said about you will get more points for a more competitive race.
Amazing.
So I don't know. I think we can only wait and see how it plays out. But it does worry me a little bit. But then that's something that I'm going to have to worry about next season. And yeah, we'll see
Mm.
how it goes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's hard, isn't it? We were talking about it the other day because, like,
Literally last week, I think I thought the exact same. I
like,
think because I'd just seen a few of the race results across the world, and I was thinking there's some athletes that are racking up the points here, and then I think it was Sika Arning who put something out, and
Yeah,
she's sitting like with I don't quote me on this, but say the 10th like fastest time
yeah,
at the moment or something like that, but actually with the points she's sitting down in 27th or something, and it's fitting in, like you say, those 5 races and being able to, and that's 5 good races because
yeah. That's
you
the
know
thing. Like they say, oh, it's only 5 races, but I was like,
you have to
I
perform at
think
every one.
I'm a product of like sometimes it doesn't go well, and it is a lot. Like Hyrox is still quite expensive, and I completely agree with what Saka's saying that it is hard. And I think she's like a full-time police officer, so it's like I can't work already great with me going off and doing the majors. Like they are so supportive, but I can't just keep sort of, oh,
Mm.
by the way, can I have a week off to go to wherever to go and race? So it's hard, but
Yeah.
yeah,
You
there's no
don't want the sport to become elitist, where the people that are going to end up being in the elite 15 are the ones that either have the backing or the money.
yeah,
Like you want the best athletes there. You don't want
yeah,
the people that have
100%.
got the most money and the time to go to the races to make them. That's a tough one for Hyrox to try and work out.
Yeah, because in the time rankings, I'm about 25th at the moment, but with the points, I'm like 45th. So it's like 20 spaces. It is a lot. So yeah, with it might be that the point system isn't correct at the moment because Hyrox haven't really said a lot about it. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
yeah. And then do
Mm.
you fall into the category but of you're racing the if you qualify with Charlie for the Elite 15 doubles at Worlds, does that mean you can't race age group solo, or have I
I
made that up?
Because it's on the same day or something. At the
Is it
moment,
on
it's the.
the
I think the
is that
Yeah,
what the
so
issue
yeah,
at the
is?
moment, yeah.
that's what the problem was because me and I think it is that if you qualify for Elite 15 doubles, you can't then go and race Elite 15 age group, which I agree with. I think that's fair. But the Elite 15 doubles race is on the same day as the age group singles. So I won't, if we do qualify, I won't be able to do the age group singles, which I'm pretty gutted about. I think that would have been like that's another race I could do that I could
Mm.
potentially do well in. And I've paid for my ticket,
And you're
so it's
there,
just
yeah.
I'm there and it's just another thing that's yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a bit annoying that in the timetabling they wouldn't put like the solo races on the same day as the solo Elite 15 and then the double races on the same day as the double Elite 15. That would
Yeah,
make way more sense because I mean
that
I'm
would
sure
make
there's a
sense.
lot I can't see the big picture, but looking from the outside in, it then anyone that's racing doubles could race their solo and anyone that's racing solo could race doubles and
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's
but you
just
know
how they put it.
Yeah, yeah.
we
Well,
sit
Sadly.
here on
another
our
one of
like
those. Yeah. No.
pedestal deciding how it should work.
Putting in our applications to work at
Yeah.
Hyrox. Like, I have some great
Yeah, yeah,
ideas.
yeah. It's hard because you do look, and everyone's so invested in the sport. But like you said, it's not even just you're invested because you love it. It's also the time, the money, the energy, and the fact you want to do well. So you want to get the most like bang for your buck. If you're there, you want to race, you want to get the points, you want the opportunity, and it's everyone's so passionate about it. I don't feel like no one's doing it in a like Seka's put her thing out. It's not because she's like wants everyone to comment or like she just literally is passionate about wanting to be able to do the best she can.
Yeah, and it's not like an attack at Hyrox.
Exactly.
It's more that oh my gosh, I've invested so much of my life into this. It's a worry. Like I'm worried about
Mm.
it, and yeah, it's just that worry. And you want to do
Mm.
well, and I want to keep racing. I want to do well in this sport. So yeah, it's just yeah, the worry of it, and I think that's why people are
Mm.
sort of speaking about it.
Yeah.
And you need the athletes to speak up because sometimes people don't. You can make decisions and you don't realize how it affects individuals, and maybe sometimes they don't realize, and it just
Yeah,
takes. At least they
yeah,
do usually take people's advice and they look. on it, and like you say, they don't make a definitive decision until the
Yeah,
time.
they
So
are quite good. And you can see
yeah.
from like me and Charlie in London that they do listen. They did listen to us and
Hmm.
they did change everything. So you've got to give them that it is such a new sport and people do forget that. So yeah, they are listening. They are aware of different things, but yeah, you've got to give them that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to round up then and ask you our final question, which is what message or advice would you give to your younger self or the next generation of girls coming up?
So the next generation, I would definitely say do as many different things as you can. So just because you might not be good at something like tennis or rounders doesn't mean that you're not good at sport. There is so many different things out there. And I always say just give everything a go. And it might not be in sport, it might be in something like art. Like you might not be great at art, but you might be amazing in, something like drama. So just because you're not good at one thing, definitely try as many things as you can. And I think that's what sort of got me into this sport is I was able to try so many different things and give different things a go that I was then able to find something that I really enjoy. And at quite like a late age, well, not a late age, but I was 21, 22. And I always thought to get into competitive, like elite sport, you had to be young. I thought at 16, 17, when I wasn't getting to where I wanted to in swimming, I was like, right, that's it for me. Sport's over. So yeah, give everything a go. You never know where you're going to end up. And yeah, just believe in yourself. But yeah.
Yeah, love
That's
that.
good.
Good answer. We've not had that one before, so yeah, very good. Thank you.
Ask a teacher. So yeah,
Yeah,
teacher, teacher
yeah.
answer. I was like, this will be good because you're with like,
There's kids every
yeah,
day.
you with
Yeah.
yeah, so you know what makes them tick, and you can see what, yeah,
Yeah.
what might
I can
inspire them.
see kids get like disheartened when something doesn't go very well, which of course is natural and it's the same with me. But just because you're not good at one thing doesn't mean you're rubbish at everything else. So yeah, definitely try and give as many things as you can a go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
love that.
100%.
Well, huge good luck for Warsaw.
Thank you.
Gonna have a
We
lot
will.
of people rooting for you.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Where's the best place for people to follow your journey and find you and see how you get on, and keep watching?
So mostly on Instagram, it's just Lauren Stockley, but with two Y's because apparently there's another Lauren Stockley out there that's got that name. But yeah, mostly Instagram. I am on TikTok a little bit, but that sort of goes in and out. So yeah, definitely just Instagram at this point.
That's cool.
Perfect.
And for anyone that wants to know a bit more about Charlie, your doubles partner, if you haven't
Yeah,
listened to the episode with her, we've done an episode with Charlie as well. So we'll link that below. Because you both talk about each other in each
I know.
episode, so it's quite cool.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it because I know, like, as much as it's Easter holidays, you also do deserve a break. Not,
Yeah.
not to be super busy and squeezing everything in. So thank you so much. And yeah, again, huge good luck, and we can't wait to see how you get on in Warsaw.
Yeah, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. It was lovely to speak to you.